Hi guys, Dover here with a new video, and this video will be an Affliction Warlock PvP guide video for mistweaver Classic. I have already made a Destruction PvP guide. If you want to check it out, you will be able to check it out at the end of the video. But right now I'm going to talk about Affliction Warlock. Affliction Warlock is the popular spec when it comes to 3v3 arenas. Like if you're playing 3v3, most likely your team is going to ask you to be able to play Affliction Warlock, or Destruction Warlock is also possible, but Affliction Warlock is the most, I would say, easy spec to play in a certain comp. For example, LSD, which is Lock, Shaman, Druid, or you could also play LSD2, which Boomy and Affliction Warlock, which you do then route the whole team down. You could also play Affliction Warlock with a warrior, that's also possible. There is also Affliction Warlock with unholy DK, that's also possible. You have a lot of comps that you can play and be good at when you are when we are talking about Affliction Warlock, which I'm going to discuss at the end with the comps that you can play. We're going to talk about stats. I'm going to talk about eventual enchants that you can play right now, gems as well. I'll be also talking about that as well. Your talents, your build, your glyph. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the comps in 3v2, 3v3, 5v5. I'm not going to discuss your role as Affliction Warlock. Obviously, your rotation. How do you play it? What are the things that you should look for when we are talking about Affliction Warlock? But it's really important that you know the basis so you can then enjoy your games. Now, when it comes to talents, it's pretty clear haste is king. Now, I don't have the threshold yet, but from my understanding, it is 12.54% or something like that. Basically, if you are dotting, for example, with your corruption, you will see that you will get one more tick or two more ticks depending on the duration of your dot. So it's always going to be beneficial for you. It is also making your DPS way more smooth, and overall you're going to have a great time when it comes to dealing damage. You might say mastery is also very important. It is, as a secondary stat, but it is like you need a lot of mastery to gain. Like, for example, I have right now 4k mastery, which is a lot. Like, I think I would like to have it a bit less to be able to have more haste, because right now my haste is very close to my mastery, which should not be the case. But for 4k mastery, I get only 21% increased damage towards my agony, corruption, and unstable affliction. But that's without counting the benefits from haste and from the extra ticks you would get from haste. If you don't get the extra ticks from haste, your damage is interesting per tick, but you're going to have less ticks. So it's, yeah, it's good, but I like to have a lot of haste on Affliction Warlock because it makes the gameplay way more smooth, and even like the whole spec is revolved around that. Even your Dark Soul Misery has a increased spell haste by 30%, so 30% plus your 12.5%, for example, it gives you insane amount of pressure, and your dots are ticking like crazy. So it ticks way faster. It's also very, very strong. Obviously, you need your 6% hit. There is no reason to PvP without 6% hit. You prefer to have and take a hit on everything else except your hit. I encourage you to test it in PvP, even with a 5.5% hit. You're going to miss spells, and sometimes these like very important spells. I one time changed my shoulders, so I bought like my conquest shoulders, because, like, again, I just bought it. I put it on, but I didn't reforge my hit. So since my shoulders had hit, I had a bit less hit, and I missed a death call, excuse me, which made me lose the game. In 2v2 double DPS, if you miss something, that really sucks. So I encourage everyone to get 6%. It's very important. Obviously, intellect is king. PvP power is also king. Like, for example, right now I have 31% PvP power, which is way more than when I made the video on Destruction Warlock. Like, it is straight up more damage. But also, you have increased healing done. I have 12%. It's going to be good for my dark region. It's going to be good for my drain life. It's also being good for example, overall your damage throughput as well, because the more you survive, the more damage you can do. That's it for the stats. Also crit as little as possible on this spec. So yeah, let's talk about the enchants. You get the Greater Cerulean thingy on your legs, so the 285 intellect, 165 in crit. Crit is not important, but it's an enchant with a lot of intellect, so you take it. For example, the gems, I do use like the red ones, 160 intellect, or I use also for the blues, so the blue gems, I use the greens, so it gives 160 haste and 160 hit, which makes you less likely to reforge your gear into hit. So it's very important. I have like one glove with, like I have also a blue with 320 hit. That's also a good thing, depending on your gear. Now, most likely I'm going to switch into haste hit once I have like full conquest gear. So I would recommend for blue ones to go for haste hit, for example. Meta gem, I go for the 3% increased critical effect because I play Destruction Warlock. I'm not going to change every single time my gems. This is like a lot of damage again. Like the more crits you do, the more damage you have also from your meta gem. So it's really, really strong. And again, red ones you go for intellect. Yellow ones you go for 80 intellect, 160 haste, for example, or you can go for a bigger one, which is 320 haste, yellow one. So you can combine everything depending on the stats you're going for. I could, like, for example, the red ones go for haste as well, so haste, intellect. I would take a hit for haste, but at least I might get the haste threshold, so I might do that afterwards when I'm doing 3s. Right now I'm doing also 2s with my Destruction Warlock, so that's why I'm not changing the gems yet. Now, enchants wise, you go for the glorious stats chest. The shoulders you need, I didn't buy the shoulder one, but you have the 200 intellect, 100 critical strike. You should get that, it's very, really cheap. You have your braces, which I have mastery right now. Soon you will have the greater intellect or something like that, superior intellect, which is going to give you 160 or 170 intellect, which is the best one. Belt, you can like get the extra gem socket, which I'm not going to buy right now because it's contender gear, so I don't really care too much. My boots, I get the Pandaren step, or don't know how it's called. It is the 140 mastery minor speed, which is super good. And if you're like enchanting, you get the ring enchant, the ring gems or enchants, I don't remember. If you're engineering, you get the on-use on your hands. If you have tailoring, you go for the cloak as well. Right now I'm nothing on my warlock, so I will have to grind, but it's worth it. So if you want to have like some pseudo trinket, you should go for that. And on my weapon I have Windsong right now because Jade Spirit is not available on my server yet because it's like locked behind Revered, I think, Golden Lotus, no, Shadowpan, I think. Which is hard to grind. So once people have that, you'll be able to get the Jade Spirit, which is the best for casters. Yeah, that's it. Let's talk about glyphs. Let's glyph first and then talents. I run Glyph of Healthstone because you're very tanky regardless, and you will get way more value out of your Healthstone. It becomes a 40% heal instead of a 20% heal. So per use of Healthstone, you're going to have way more heal, way more health from it. I use the Glyph of Eternal Resolve, which makes me just 10% more tanky. Now, obviously, you will not have the unused from Unending Resolve, giving you preventing spells to be interrupted or silenced. Personally, don't feel like I need that too much as an Affliction Warlock because I basically put my dots one time with soul burn into a soul swap, and then I can just soul swap. For example, again, a big spoiler on the rotation, but you can basically just like do like this, right? And the more haste you have, the easier, the faster it becomes, right? Boom, triple dot, and only use one soul shard. And yeah, it's fast, and everyone gets dotted. So you don't really cast too much. You cast maybe a haunt, you cast maybe the malefic grasp if you have time, free haunt here for example, boom. And you could also cast Affliction Warlock, Unstable Affliction, Corruption, Agony, but you could also just like soul swap. And then it's really easy to get it on everyone. And boom. And then you choose the target you want to haunt, double haunt even, grasp, and then guys like getting like a lot of damage. And it's pretty easy, pretty fast. You can't really avoid it. If the healer wants to dispel it, good for them. It might just do too much damage for them as well. And since everyone is dotted, you can swap targets really easily. So that's why I have Glyph of Eternal Resolve. But you could also not play that, which I truly understand. You can play Curse of Exhaustion. I really like that because it's making you slow someone for 70%. It is a curse, so not every healer can decurse it, which is, again, kind of like annoying to deal with. It lasts for 15 seconds instead of like 30 seconds. Yeah, it's truly strong. Obviously, I don't think in PvP it's 30 seconds, so I don't know. I don't remember like my curse like slow to be 30 seconds. I think it's 5 seconds or 8 seconds, something like that. But it's a big slow, 70%. So again, it makes it way better, especially if you're like kiting someone like a warrior, for example, or even a DK. It is like very good. You could also play like, I don't know, I'm not really thinking. I did try Glyph of Drain Life with the Drain Life talent. It's okay in 1v1 and that's it. I don't think like you have time to like Drain Life your way to victory right now. When you get like more HP, like later seasons, maybe it could be interesting to get that because you would become like way more tanky. And that's it really. I don't think there is nothing like there's anything else. Maybe Siphon Life, but you're not going to spread to too many people your dots. Again, in 3s there's only 3 targets. In BGs maybe, but it's not like not that really interesting in my eyes. If it was like 1% maybe, and that's it. And the minor talents, minor glyphs are not that relevant for PvP. Alright, my talents. So we have some hard locks, some soft locks. Depends on how you see the game, to be fair. I play with Dark Regeneration. I think personally it is the best. It makes it that you can like pop Dark Regen with your Health Stone, which again improves your Health Stone health healing as well. And you're going to survive a big amount of damage. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it feels like you can heal way more yourself as a Destruction Warlock than as an Affliction Warlock, so that Drain Life tanking is not really happening. You're not playing SLSL like in TBC, that's not happening, and it feels like that, like it's something you have to adapt to yourself. You have Soul Leech, which is not that great in my opinion, because if it was about dots, maybe, but you're not perma-spamming Haunt, you are not perma-spamming Fell Flame, you're not perma-spamming Drain Soul, and you are not perma-spamming Malefic Grasp. That only happens when you have like a small window of time where you can cast those spells, and still not it's still not worth the 20% of the damage dealt absorb. So for me, it's a no. Harvest Life, I tried it. It is fun, but I think it's not worth it right now. As a like, if you want to Drain Life, it's okay, but it's not like healing you enough to justify the Harvest Life. It basically gives you 5% health every second if you take it. With dampening and with MS effects, it's really not that high. And 5% out of 400k, let's say, like it's 20k, so yeah, it's 20k. So it's not like that impressive either, because someone is going to damage you for 30k every second, so you don't have that much sustain. 45 roam, 30 roam, there's only 2 choices. Demonic Breath is not a choice. If it was 70%, maybe. If it was a bigger yard, longer seconds, why not? but you really need like hard CC, which is Mortal Coil or Shadow Fury. Basically, Shadow Fury, you play it in comps where you don't have stuns or you have very rare stuns. I like Shadow Fury, for example, especially in BGs. I like it in 2s as well, I like it in 3s as well. I like it more than Mortal Coil because of the 30-second CD. But if you're playing with a rogue, you're playing with a warrior, you're playing with, I don't know, a Retribution Paladin, often Mortal Coil can be paired, like it's not even Death Coil, it's Mortal Coil, can be paired with a stun afterwards, which makes the CC way longer. And it is like 45 seconds, it has a long range, it restores a bit of health, but usually I don't really notice it too much when that happens. I find Mortal Coil way stronger on a Destruction Warlock where you can put Havoc, so you can basically do double coil. As an Affliction Warlock, having a stun is actually a blessing in my eyes. You have Soul Link on the 45 row, which is the insta take for me. Too good because it splits 20% of all damage taken, so it is kind of giving you a damage reduction. And also it heals for a bit, not a lot, but it heals all damage, so also your dots. And if you are like multi-dotting everyone, obviously, you do get a bit of healing afterwards, you know. You do get some healing. Is it like super noticeable? No, it's not even like a percent. But it will help you in the long run. It does heal for a bit, not for a lot. And it also heals your pets, which is good because then your pet doesn't die to like AoE. Sacrificial Pact it's existing. I prefer it over Dark Bargain. It just is like very hard to justify it over Soul Link because Soul Link is so good and works at all times as long as you have a pet. And if you have Grimoire of Sacrifice, it actually gives you 20% more stam, like more health. So you would be just like a big tank. You would have more HP than a Blood Decay. On the 60 row, Dark Bargain not worth it in my eyes at this very moment, or I didn't find like any use case where I feel like it's a great spell to use in arenas. 60, I have Unbound Will. It's so good to have like a second trinket on a 1-minute CD, so you have a 2-minute CD and a 1-minute CD trinket. Just be careful if you're facing an Affliction Warlock, you just don't play that. Like you can kill yourself with that. And I think overall there's no real limit towards that spell. I think it's just like an overall great spell to have. Blood Horror is nice. It's a 4-second CD SCC every 30 seconds. Can be annoying to face if you're like a warrior, a paladin, even a DK. It can save you. I truly just am so used to have like a second trinket on a 1-minute CD that it's very hard for me to lock something else. And Burning Rush is interesting in PvE basically for me. PvE means that you are able to catch up at all times and you're not slow to the point where people want to kick you from the dungeon group. On the 75 row, there's like 2 choices in my eyes. I think Grimoire of Service is not really a choice possible. You could technically, because again, having a succubus, being able to seduce someone is interesting. Having an immediate interrupt is also interesting, but it's a 2-minute CD. If it was like a 1.5 or a 1-minute CD, I would definitely like think that it's going to be a good pick. But Grimoire of Sacred Supremacy just gives your demons to a bit more damage. It's not like immense, like the pets itself don't do that much damage. But they have abilities that are a bit changed for the better or for the worse. Like technically, it's kind of the same really. You're not taking the pet like this pet to do damage. It still is like way less than what I'm doing like overall without popping CDs. But I like Clone Magic. So 15 seconds dispel, so it helps. And we have Optical Blast, which is like distance. Is it better than the normal one? It's a 24-second CD, so it's the same, but at least it has a cool icon, pretty much. Grimoire of Sacrifice is my fan favorite talent. Just sucks that it is like increasing single target spells by 20%, which again, like I said, haunt Malefic Grasp, Drain Soul. Those are not really spammable abilities, so you're not going to gain that much. You get like a 20% maximum health, why not? And you get also like a regen every 5 seconds. You get 2% of maximum health. So if you have 400k, you would get 20%, and then like half of 20%, I guess 10. Like you would get like 8k, 9k health every 5 seconds. It's not that massive. Like you're not taking for that. What I like about it is that you don't really care about the pet. It's not going to die because you have sacrificed it. While this one, if it dies, I will need to burn a soul burn or cast Summon Observer, which is a long time, especially in arenas. It's not going to be happening. So yeah, I think Grim of Sacrifice has its benefits, but it is more like you don't want to control your pet pretty much. And you don't have the benefit from Destruction Warlock, where you can just res your pet in one click and then kick again and then sacrifice the pet and you can kick again afterwards. Like they don't have that benefit. The Knight Hero, there is only one choice to me. It's because like Gil'jain's Cunning is good, but you're not really spamming Malefic Grasp because you're still like there fighting for the soul swaps. Because these spells are going to happen and you will have to soul swap everyone, being able to do a haunt and then like reapply dots here. And you can then do another soul swap round, boom, and everyone is like stacked, you know. And that means that there is a lot of damage going, then another haunt, a grasp, and that's the go pretty much. And then you have obviously your Dark Soul Misery, your trinket use, and you will get a lot of damage done onto the enemy. It's for sure like a spec that where you are always casting. If it was like the soul burn or the soul swap, like there's always something to cast. Am I lagging? I am lagging. It's going to... I'm going to get DC'd. That really sucks. Or not. I know. Oh yes, I'm DC'd now. Well, I'm going to try to reconnect. I'm very sorry for that. Always happens when I'm making a video, but at least it happens. Then we're going to discuss about the double Dark Soul and what's the use case of it, pretty much. So we have obviously Dark Soul Misery, and I pair it up with the trinket, 1 minute CD trinket, and it makes that I'm going to do a lot more damage. There are a few passives that you maybe need to understand, so let's talk about that first. So overall, there are a few passives that you will need to learn. So for example, we have the Mastery passive, which I already read. You have Nightfall, which makes that your most recently applied corruption has a 10% chance when it deals damage to cause you to regain a soul shard. So it doesn't matter how many corruptions you have. There's only one corruption that gives you the soul shards. So it doesn't matter if you have like 10 corruptions up. It will only boost your damage towards corruption, but it will never give you an extra haunt because you have that many. Just need to have one, and then it's a 10% chance. You have Pandemic, which is super important. It's a new spell. If you're putting corruption and you reapply corruption, it becomes a way bigger corruption. It becomes a 45-second CD corruption. And obviously, if you are like going to soul swap it, it will become a double 40-second corruption. Now, they can dispel it, obviously. You can also do double Unstable Affliction, and then you can like swap it. It becomes like a very long Unstable Affliction, and it just becomes way more interesting for you because then you can just relax a bit and you can just use your spells. A Malefic Rupture here, a little Hunt there, another Malefic Rupture here, and then you get like a lot of damage for free, pretty much. So that is Pandemic. It's super important that you know that, that you need to reapply those hot dots even if there is a duration behind it. You have Improve Sphere. It was a talent from Affliction in Cataclysm, I think, or even like in Wrath and in TBC. When you fear, at the end, when it breaks, you will get a slow out of it. So it's not like they're going to run at full speed to you. No, they get like a little slow of 30% slow, which is enough for you to run away or take distance from him. Really important as well. What other ones did I miss? If you Soulburn Curse, you're going to have a like 10 yards radius on the target, and everyone's going to be slowed, for example. As you see, at the Soulburn slow, everyone is slowed. You have also Soulburn Demonic Circle Teleport, which is super strong. Like, it makes you like unslowable, unrootable, 50 seconds like percent movement speed. Basically, if someone slows you or roots you here, it's pointless. You are like a nightmare for a frost mage, for example. I'm just saying that. Obviously, you're not going to spend your soul burn like it's candy, because you need to regain those soul burns, those soul shards, which is not an easy task, but it actually happens. Obviously, it's something you need to learn how to play. You don't want to use your soul shards like every single time when it's up, because you need to be able to use it wisely, I would say. So that is about the passives. Let's talk about the talent. So the double Dark Souls, you get like another stack of Dark Soul, which again, if you put your dots, for example, is 2.6k every 2 seconds. If I'm popping my Dark Soul and I reapply those dots, it becomes way stronger. You get like double the damage. It's like there is no reason for you to not do that, right? And you can then swap very fast because you have fast GCDs, and you keep on swapping, and that makes you very, very powerful. And then you can go for another Dark Soul and basically do a lot of damage with your Haunts, do Malefic Rupture, Malefic Grasp, excuse me, because Rupture is from retail, and you just like do a lot of damage for free. It just shows when you are able to do your Dark Soul go, it makes that you have like a very fast sphere, you have a very fast cast, you have a very fast soul burn into like soul swap, and then soul swap the whole enemy team. That helps you with keep on getting those dots onto the enemies. And I personally really like that playstyle right now. It's one of the most fun iterations of Affliction Warlock. So if you have played retail and then you play Mists of Pandaria, it's like literally two different styles. Like, you don't deal like damage with Shadow Bolt, you don't have to spam Malefic Rupture on retail. You have that in Mists of Pandaria, you don't have that. So that's really a blessing in my eyes. I really like that aspect of Affliction Warlock. So those were the talents, the glyphs. What else can I discuss? Let's discuss about comps. In twos, you want to play with a healer if you're playing Affliction Warlock. I think double DPS is way too slow for Affliction Warlock to actually thrive. You don't have the sustain as much as in Destruction Warlock or as a Demonology Warlock. You're not as tanky as them. And your damage is really good once you're like ramping up and you have a bit of time to ramp up. And double DPS, you don't really have that much time. I prefer playing Destruction Warlock in double DPS, but if I'm playing with a healer, I often prefer playing Affliction Warlock because you have way more time to deal your damage, and you are very hard to kite because once you have your dots up, well, they have to go on you. They cannot really hide behind the pillar because they're going to die at one point. While Destruction Warlock, if they hide behind the pillar, it's very hard for you to actually cast anything, because at least anything's like significant. So that's why it's sometimes very hard to win those games as Destruction Warlock. Affliction Warlock, I haven't done any threes, but it's the same as in the beta. You want to play comps where you play for dampening, or you play for like heavy CC, or you're playing for heavy pressure. So heavy pressure, for example, so it makes you able to win at any time pretty much. Arms Warrior with Affliction Warlock. I think it's very fun to play. You can play Unholy DK with Affliction Warlock, which is a lot of pressure. Like, you have insane amount of dot damage, you too, with then your healer being able to lay back and heal you very easily and very efficiently. I do believe like they shine the best in LSD, for example, which is Lock Shaman and Druid, which the Druid is Restoration Restoration Druid, the best kind of Druid pretty much. And you can also play LSD2, which is Lock, Boomy, Resto Shaman, which is performing still very good. But I truly believe like Resto Druid variant is probably the better one if you want to win most games efficiently. You could also play with a mage, but I think mage lock is better for Destruction Warlock than for Affliction Warlock, because you can then like dot everyone and you don't need to think about the polymorph. You could also play Shadow Play, which is a fan favorite comp, which is basically I prefer to play it like that. So Shadow Priest, Affliction Warlock, and you have then a Holy Paladin or a mistweaver. You could also make it work with Resto Druid, with a Holy Priest, heck, even with a Resto Shaman. But I prefer with a Holy Paladin or with a mistweaver, because it goes very well in that style of CC. And you have less DRs to play with, and again, if you're a Holy Paladin, you can bop one of the casters and you get a lot of great opportunities to being able, how can I say, to be able to thrive in your comp. So those are the comps that I would play in 3s and in 2s. In 2s, Resto Druid, very good. I think Resto Shaman, it's if you have more gear, it scales way better. Holy Paladin, it's okay. I think it's okay. It's actually good. It depends on how you play it, and I think any healer is okay to play with an Affliction Warlock, but some healers are better. Like for example, Resto Druid, they get like insane value from your presence as an Affliction Warlock, so it's just beneficial for everyone. They also get a teleport, which is like insane. They can just kite very easily and just follow. They can follow your teleport without like getting lines. So yeah, very good. Let's discuss about what else can I discuss. Like gameplay, I already showed you the rotation, but basically, if you want to do a go, you can directly use your Dark Soul Misery, and then you keep on swapping and swapping and swapping and swapping, and that just itself is a great thing, right? And if you have like the time, put a haunt into a Malefic Grasp, and you can then put another haunt, Malefic Grasp with your Misery, and that is a lot of damage, like a lot of damage. Like, it's very hard for someone to survive once you have like Dark Soul Misery, but having double Dark Soul Misery is like miserable for them. The play on words is intended, so please laugh. So yeah, I think overall it's really simple. Rotation in PvP depends on a lot of factors, and you want to fear one, you want to able to fear the other one, and then boom, double, like triple Shadow Fury, and you have insane pressure because they are not able to heal, so you're able to do a haunt. And if you can like chain multiple haunts in a row, that is like big damage. Because haunt itself does a lot of damage, but like having to cast it every single time costs a soul shard, and soul shards are like not really like running around rampant either, so that's something you need to look for if you want to be able to like be successful as an Affliction Warlock. Macros wise, well, a focus macro on everything pretty much. Like, there's no secret. Like, World of Warcraft has existed since 2004 for a lot of people. For me, it is since 2005. And focus macros are making your life way easier. Now you can also tap target, and that's okay. But I think a focus macro on like your spell kick, your fear, even a slow, why not? Even soul swap, like soul swap main target, focus macro, soul swap. That's like super easy to do, but it changes your life, right? You don't need to tap target at all. Just 2 clicks and that's it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You could also soul burn everything into a macro. So soul burn healthstone, no, not healthstone because that's not in this version of the game, but like a soul burn, soul swap. You can do soul burn with like drain life if you want to do it. You can do soul burn into a summon observer. That helps. So you have just one click and it becomes like the reality. It is interesting, but you kind of have to see it for yourself if you want to have easier time or not. But overall, I really like the whole gameplay around it. Now, anything new spell-wise? Not really. I truly believe like Warlock is like one of the most fun classes in the game because you have like 3 very unique class aspects itself. Like if you want to play Demonology Warlock, I think it's like not bad. It is obviously very hard to make it work because you can just focus your pet down and that sucks. But the damage itself is quite good. And I will be making a guide about it, and I will be showing you gameplay as well about it. Very soon I will be doing gameplay videos about all the Warlock specs and showing you how-tos in Arena itself. I didn't have that much time for myself because I'm also playing with Druid, I'm also leveling other characters because I want to like be enjoying my Miss Pandaria experience as much as possible. And since I'm going to a holiday next Tuesday for 1 week, I'll be there like trying to I would say prepare videos for the future. But if you have any questions, be sure to ask me. A little thing that I have forgotten, the force set is important because you want to have the Twilight Ward to be able to absorb any magical schools. It just helps you to sustain, to live a bit longer. You have 400k health, the Twilight Ward is 50k health. Basically, it's a no-brainer, right? You have obviously your force set, which gives you PvP power, but also demonic gateway, having a faster gateway. I cannot do it here, but it will become at 45 seconds instead of a 1 minute, which makes games way easier to be able to kite people. So overall, just all beneficial for warlocks, and I would for sure go for the force set. And which pieces did I buy first? I buy legs and shoulders, and next week I'll be buying the weapon because it's the biggest upgrade you can have. It sucks to spend all your points into just a weapon and the offhand, for example, but it is the best upgrade you can have, like across every single class. I don't think there is one class where they don't want the weapon. It just is that big of an upgrade. It's nowhere near a war, like for example retail, where you don't really have any weapon scaling at all. It just is purely stats and aesthetic. But anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.